All right, folks, welcome to another pairing stream. This is episode 19 of working on Mike's song themes app. Welcome, everyone. How you doing, Mike?
Good, and you?
Good.
Awake?
Not quite yet.
I would say I'm probably in a similar boat.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So last time we were working on improving our experience when importing the songs have some problems in them, so validation errors.
Right. I think we were in the middle of a prepare refactoring. If my
Yeah, let's go take a look.
looking at what I got here, let me get rid of my infinity screen. Looks like we're in the middle of coding something. We got a left off with a comment.
Yep.
And a compile error, so that's good.
Yep. So what we were trying to do was turn, so instead of throwing an exception, so our model for doing this is instead of throwing an exception, having to catch it maybe in the service layer or the controller, we decided to use a sort of result pattern. And this is a much more common, I talked about this last time, it's a much more common pattern than the .NET world. Not quite sure why it hasn't caught on quite as much, and maybe there's no standards. So in the .NET there's support for that, but in Java, specifically Spring Boot, there's not. I don't know, that it just doesn't have it as, and it's not as prevalent. So
so what
yeah,
do folks do in the Java world? Do they just roll their own different?
Yeah. So you'll see exceptions and exception handlers, or you'll see I don't know. I've looked around at projects, and it's mostly like the validation is done in the controller, or just they don't, or they rely on exceptions. I'm actually not sure. It'd be interesting to ask around about, like, what do people do. Maybe some people use a result type thing, but this is something that's really hard to tell what sort of real world apps are doing, because there aren't a lot of real world apps that have the source available.
Right.
There's lots of apps on GitHub, that, Spring Boot apps that are pretty much just toys and people learning, and just people copying one another, but not significant apps. I have come across some apps that are a bit more significant, but I'll have to look and see what they do, what kind of pattern they follow for different kinds of basically business or domain validation. That's something I'll have to look at. I'm going to take a note.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think about the concept of design patterns, that they're basically no one person creates a design pattern. Multiple people have done the same thing in different projects,
Right.
and then someone notices it and collects the information and making a pattern. So, like you said, it sounds like in the .NET world they do have the result pattern.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see if there is anything in the Java world.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Hey, Jonas, welcome to the YouTube stream.
Howdy.
Good evening, Astrid. All right, so I think where we left off was we converted throwing the exception in our parse song. We converted that to return this result failure thing, and that's there in line 29. And what we want to do is
converting it. And before this used to throw an exception, but now it's returning a result.
right. And we're currently, I think, ignoring that. And so that's, I think what we wanted to do was extract that part to that new method that we had.
Parse with result.
Yeah. So we've got the parse method alone. Maybe make the bottom bigger because we want to be
That's
able
what
to see.
I was literally just thinking that.
And I wonder if maybe 150% zoom is actually too much because it's hard to see all the code. Yeah, I think that's going to have to be our compromise because we need to see more code. So we've got
we could move parse result up to.
Yeah, that's I was about to suggest. Let's move that up so at least they're closer together. Interesting.
Yeah, Astrid, I figured they're going to record L and L, so I'll just watch it afterwards.
Yeah. That's weird. Whenever I want to suggest the shortcut to use, I have to go and actually do it in IntelliJ and to figure out what is that.
The moving up one?
Yeah.
Instead of doing cut and paste?
Yeah. So it's Control Shift up arrow and down arrow.
Okay. So and just be anywhere in the line.
Yeah. So if you're on the method signature line where you are now, it'll move the whole method. If you're on a statement, it'll move just that statement.
Got it. So I can move it up there. Or down below.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, I'm sorry, I'm write that one down. You said it was, so I can make a little card for myself later. Control Shift arrow.
Control Shift up and down arrow. Yeah. And do I have that? I do.
In your in the TED official TED cheat sheet.
Actually, that one I don't. Oh, I have to add that one. That one's a lesser used one. That's why it's not in my cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Come on.
Duly noted.
And what's weird is Control Shift up arrow and down arrow on Mac does something completely different. Well, not completely different, but it actually jumps from method to method instead of actually moving the method.
Oh.
That would be just Alt up arrow and down arrow for you.
What is Alt up? It does what again?
Well, do it. Do Alt up arrow. And I do Alt down arrow.
It gotcha.
It moves the caret from method to method in that direction.
Oh, that's so interesting. You said caret and my brain said cursor, but you are 100% right. It really is the caret, not the cursor.
The terminology is a little bit confusing. I try to use caret because that's mainly because it's what IntelliJ calls it. JetBrains, especially when you're in like multi-caret mode, it's the caret. But most people think of it as the cursor.
But for example, the cursor is my mouse moving way over here.
Yeah.
But the caret's over there. Yeah, I never really thought of them as two separate things.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So what we want to do is we want to have so right now the parse song only returns a failure message if it fails, and it returns the song if it's success.
And I don't remember what part of that we were extracting, because based on the comment here, the whole parse song method returns a result. I'm suspecting we wanted to do a subset of it like this, maybe.
Did we have you can actually probably make the split a bit more even now with the smaller text. What did we have? So we had that test. And our parse song, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what our intention was.
Yeah. Seems like it feels like a prepare refactoring for something. Parse with result. I guess our breadcrumb wasn't as good as we thought.
So did we have a test for just a parse of an individual song with not enough columns?
Whoops, wrong one. Doesn't look like it.
What's the one that says returns failure? Yeah, that one.
Oh, sorry. What was your question again?
My question was, where's this test?
Ah,
The
okay.
test for a single row as opposed to multiple rows. So
Right.
parse a single song as opposed to parse a list of songs. So we have that because we translated the exception into a failure message, so that's working.
I think I know why. Because we were gonna I think we're doing that prepare refactoring because we're getting ready for multiple rows wrong and starting to collect the errors so that the error message at the UI is all of these rows. These are the rows that had problems.
Right.
Aren't
I'm
we
just not
heading
sure why we had parse
this?
with result, because we already have the parse song method returning a result. What is the parse songs method return? The one above it? Okay, so that's the one we want to eventually, like we wrote in the goal, is
There we go.
that, but I'm not sure why. Oh, okay, I know why. So can you take the method that's currently not compiling and move it up to line 25?
Yep. Whoops. Gotta put the caret in the right place.
Yeah. So we wanted to refactor out from here, not from parse song. That's what
Oh,
we're
we
trying
even
to.
said parse here in the comment.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
just were
I
reading
guess
it
we can't
mentally.
read. Yeah,
We
because
did
right
say we
now,
were just making up, right?
right. Yeah, not enough coffee exception. So yeah, because right now the parse method, which takes the list of new line to limited stuff, does not return result. And what we want to do is map the part that gets the result. Because right now what we do on line 22 is we throw away the result, and we want to stop doing that.
Right.
So we can see that with IntelliJ's little hints, we get the parse songs, we get a stream of then results, but then we toss away the actual result and convert it to, sorry, don't,
Sorry.
so you can see on the right with the hints, we go from a stream result, which is what we want, but for backwards compatibility, we then did a map to a stream of song. So what we want to do is basically extract from the lines down to the map. Basically, want to extract from lines 19 through 21, and that's what we want to put into the parse with result. So we should be able to
And
do that as a refactor, as an extract refactor.
So up to there.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Alt.
Oh, it's Control Alt. Yep. One more time. Nope. That's interesting mode. Guess we got to give it a new name.
Well, this is the one we want to call parse with result, and we'll just delete
Right.
the method that we manually created. That's fine.
Oh, if I hit enter, will it just keep it, or do I have to give it a?
Hit enter and see what happens.
No, it won't let me.
Then
We'll just do that for a second.
Sure. Yeah, so delete the other one. We can get rid of it.
Where?
I wouldn't trust its interpretation since the code is not compiling.
Right.
I wouldn't do a safe delete. Just delete it.
Oh, just do it manually.
Yeah. Because it's actually the test that's using it, but we're going to replace it with a real thing. So somewhere we broke some test code. So let's probably because parse with result is private, we want to make that public. But now the return type is wrong, but that's okay.
Oh.
We'll have to fix that.
But that method was. Didn't we just create that method? So how is it?
Well, we created the temporary placeholder, which is
right.
what we wanted to test. But that was returning. That was public. We just deleted it when we extracted the method. It extracted it as private.
Right, but how could anybody have been using it since it returned nothing, even though it had a return type of?
Well, the test wasn't passing. It wasn't even compiling. So the test compiled, the test code compiled, but the production code didn't compile.
Got it. Okay.
Now the production code compiles, but the test doesn't compile because we're returning an individual result as opposed to a stream of results. Now we have to decide what our so parse with results. We don't want a stream of results. What does our result look like again? Hey, Adaran.
Howdy.
Hey, Louise. Welcome.
Hey, Louise.
So right now, result is an individual result. And I think our goal is that this should be a list of both songs and a list of failure messages, right? Because we want the result to accumulate both. Or one or the other, basically.
So right now, result is for a single song.
Right, or a single failure.
Or a single failure.
Yeah.
Do we want a new class or a new object that's a list of results?
No, we want result to be the result of the operation that we're calling. And so it will, instead of the question is what steps do we take to get there?
Got it. So eventually it'll be line 7 will be a list of songs.
Right.
And line 8 will be either a list of strings or one string with.
I think it'd be a list of strings.
I think a list of strings.
Okay. Yeah. Because eventually you'd want even the failure message perhaps to be a little bit less stringy and more structured, but for now we'll just not worry about that.
Got it. Makes sense.
Are we doing discriminated unions? Sort of, kind of, as best we can in Java. So now we have to figure out what our next step is, which is, do we want to modify result to have those multiple things, or do we want to just return a stream of results, get our test to pass, and then convert the result to be multiple things.
Oh, generally, if I favor getting to green faster than
Yeah,
not.
yeah. I think
Um,
I also don't like if I saw a clear path to the results, but I don't see it. I can't visualize a clear path. So yeah, let's take a small step to get to green. So that means we'll have to change the result type here.
Correct. That'll make it compile.
Let's see. Yes. And then what we can do is in our assert that, we can assert that result and we can get rid of the is success. No, outside of the assert that, what we'll want to do is say has size 1, and then contains because I don't think we care about the specific failure message, just that it is a failure. So let's do, instead of contains, let's do extracting. And then we can do the method handle result : is success. So the third option. And then we can basically, now we can say contains exactly false. So what that does is basically the extracting is very similar to a map, a stream map. So basically calls on each entry in the list, because it converts the stream to a list, and then calls its success on each one, fills up a list of booleans, and then we're just saying that it contains only one boolean, and that boolean is false. So
And,
yeah,
sorry, I noticed that it says the variable name is 2 songs. It's really 1 song. The
yeah,
test name is
I think we
handle.
will want to have 2 songs, but for now we'll just get it passing with 1.
Got it.
And then we'll
Refactor.
Yeah.
Run the test.
Yeah, and let's see, before we run the test though, let's see if we can predict. Yeah, I think that'll work.
Okay.
Because we're using the extracted code, which we know worked.
Right.
And it should parse only 1 song despite the new line. Yeah, great.
Cool.
So now let's add another bad song. You don't need that for text blocks.
Right. I'm very boring with my names today.
Mm-hmm.
So now in this case, we should have has size 2. But would, when you're extracting is success, will it extract 2 falses, and then we have to change this contains exactly to somehow.
Yeah, so then we can say it contains exactly false, false.
Oh, that's pretty
because this is just a
straightforward.
list of values. It just happens to be booleans.
Huh, got it.
Yes, yay for text blocks.
For sure. Okay, I think this is going to work too. Well, actually, no, maybe not. What is parse result? It's doing the filter.
Yeah, it's doing a parse song. Each parse song will individually return a result. So this should also work.
Running the tests.
Yep.
And yeah.
All right, so now what we want parse with result to do, now I think we can start thinking about how to convert to a single result that contains multiple values. However, this parse with result is the one that, yeah, I was going to say we want to start converting our real code and our other tests to use this method, but it's not ready yet because it's returning a stream of result.
Right. Would we do a parallel change?
Well, we are
so that the other
kind
tests
of doing a parallel change because this is the new method that's going to replace the existing parse method above it.
Right. This cursor.
Yeah.
There we go.
Because we basically want to get rid of the parse on line 17. That's the method we want to get rid of.
Should we mark it as deprecated?
Did it pass for the right reason? Yeah. Yes, we should mark it as deprecated. And then we should do a commit.
Prepare refactoring for parsing, returning a result instead of list song.
Right.
Is that good?
Yep. Astrid's still mad about code coverage as a goal. Yes. Fight the battle.
Oh, I'm sorry, Astrid. I know that battle well.
Right, it's running all tests. Sure. Those should all pass though. Unless we've broken some Spring stuff. Yep, they all pass. Good.
Nope. Good.
All right. So what's our next step? So we've got parse with result, but it's returning a stream result. So I think now is when we do a prepare refactoring of results, where we prepare it to hold multiple values, but it still only holds one.
Oh, so internally.
Yes.
Got
so
it.
this would be a pure refactoring internal. So the boundary of change is just this class.
So the interface will stay the same, but internally this will become lists.
Yep.
List.
Yep.
Got it.
So
let's see. How do we do that from a refactoring? Can we say?
This is such a small class. I think we just do it.
Oh, manually. Okay.
Yeah.
And then values, I presume.
So we called it value when we were sort of being trying to be a little generic. I think we can be more specific, and then when we generify it, we can figure out what the name is. So this should really be songs.
Okay. Oh, it didn't take. Must have. Oh, I know what I did wrong. There we go.
Hit the down arrow.
Yeah.
May as well rename the parameter. I hate that this dialog box comes up so tiny. And I know layout is hard on GUIs, but it always comes out so small. Yeah, that's what we want. And so then let's we probably want I don't think IntelliJ is going to offer any help here. What we probably want to do is have the declaration of songs also assign and initialize an array list.
Like that?
Yep. And then 14, instead of an assignment, we can just do an add. And that variable we probably should fix.
But
And there's another compile error somewhere. Yeah, so let's rename value to song, just to be consistent. And now here's where we're backwards compatible, and we just return get first using the new sequenced collections. And I hate the fact that it's get, but
and not just first.
And not just first, yeah. I understand why, because there is a get method that returns a specific one given an index, but I still hate it. So this should have been a completely encapsulated refactoring. So let's run our tests to make sure that we haven't broken anything. All right, excellent. Let's commit. I'm always up for a good get and set rant.
Good enough?
Yep. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to do some parallel change. We can sort of do so, because what we want is we want result to can we split? I'm just wondering if we can split the editor panes in a certain way. Can we split results so it's off to the right, so we can have result up at the same time as everything else? So just drag and drop.
Oh. So you mean like this?
Yeah. Yeah. What I'd want, and maybe IntelliJ doesn't support it, is I'd want result to like take up the full vertical space.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think it supports that, unless you split.
Do we need this parser?
Yeah, because we're going to be changing it. We're going to be
but
changing.
Does it need to be wide? Like if we put this up here.
Yeah, maybe not.
I mean, it's temporary, just to get through this. Or do
actually, now if you resplit it, it's probably what we want.
So bring this back down.
Yeah. No, down. Nope. There.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's an ordering issue. Yeah. So Astrid asks, does get first blow up if the list is empty? I assume it's doing a get, with a 0 index, and so if the list is empty, yeah, you'll get an array index out of bounds exception. So yay, we got our splitting right. Okay. So what we want is a parallel change where we have a method called songs on our result, in addition to we should probably do the same for failure messages, right? Since we'll want multiple of those. In fact, that's the first thing we'll modify, because we'll want this test.
We don't have a test for failure, do we? Or we do?
Well, we do right now, but we'll want this test to remain passing because line 55 eventually will return just a single result as opposed to a stream of results. So once we make that structural change, then we can change this test. Um, uh, and add the multiple failure messages. So let's do another prepare refactoring for the failure message. So sort of the same process. So it might be a little confusing because you renamed the parameter on 17. I think actually we did that before and realized we didn't want to. And so we actually don't want 17's
Ah,
parameter to be plural.
right.
Eventually it will be, but right now we don't want it to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big jump
So
too
that
fast.
should continue to work. Oh, oh, because we didn't assign an array list to failure
Ah,
messages.
rerun the test?
Unless you like continue seeing red.
No.
Oops, that's why we have tests.
Yep.
It's funny for such a mechanical change, um, it's still easy to make mistakes,
Right.
and that's why we have tests. All right, so the test passed, we can go ahead and do another commit.
Copacetic?
Mhm. All right, so now, um, I think we can,
What are you thinking about?
um, we've got so now I think now we make the jump, right? So we've done the prepare refactoring, and now we can make the jump to parse with result, internally having the multiple failure messages and the multiple failures. Um,
Would we drive that from the test and make this be a list of results instead of stream?
well, it's not, no, so it's not going to be a list of anything. It's going to be just result, right?
Oh,
'Cause
right.
result holds this list
Pose the
internally.
list. Yep.
Yeah. But I think we'd like to, we need to change our, uh, we're not extracting result as success anymore. We're extracting the failure message. And what we're going to want is failure messages. But let's do one more. So let's change our assertions so that we can track the failure messages. So we'll probably want to copy the expected failure that we have in another test on this, where we tested the failure of a single one. Yeah.
And as a separate assert, or
No, so what we'll want is we don't need that assert line. We just want the text. So
Got
just grab the text out of that. And then delete that line. And so instead of extracting is success, we want to extract failure message. And this is the downside of those inlay hints, is sometimes they get really big. And so now we want to have two strings. So instead of the false false, we want two strings. That one. And then probably on a new line.
Oh yeah, I'm working on it.
And if you run that, that will fail.
How will it fail, Ted?
It will fail because it will have the first string will match, but the second string will not have artist 2 and song title 2. Thank you for making me be more precise. Excellent. So James asks, what do you call writing the logic first and then the test to validate the logic? The typical way people develop?
Test after.
Technically test after, yeah.
Yeah.
I call it test after sometimes because lots of times people just don't write tests at all. Yeah, Astrid, I was thinking exactly the same thing. It's like, oh, this is easy. We'll just, you just do it. And then you realize you forgot a trivial step. Yeah. All right, so this failed as expected. Let's fix it up. Perhaps provide maybe a little bit more variety in our input. So maybe have 3 columns instead of 2.
I forget what's
It doesn't
the third
matter.
column. Release title.
Yeah.
Rerun it.
Yeah, and so now it'll fail because the second message will be 3 instead of 2, right. And the row contains will be wrong. And what we'll do is we'll actually copy and paste the output into our test. Oh, you've got an illegal escape character.
Yep, I fixed
that was
it
unexpected.
Already. Yep.
Yeah.
My brain was going, something was wrong with what I just typed, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So, or I gave it a few seconds of brain power, but not much.
So you can just grab the correct string out and we'll paste that in, since we know that that's the right thing. Control W is your friend there.
I know. Still haven't gotten in the habit of that one.
And you want to not, you pasted the strings. You want to do Control W one more time to include the double quotes. Now, place. Yep.
Yeah, now we're good.
So now it should pass. Excellent.
I imagine folks might be, isn't that cheating? You took the answer that you got and then just pasted it into the assert.
So what's
it's a characterization kind of test, right?
Yeah. So what's interesting is because we predicted exactly how it would fail, right? I said it was going to be 3 instead of 2, and it was going to have the title at the end. Yes, we could have manually updated the string, but we know that the output was exactly what we expected it to be. So the output was correct. We just hadn't gotten our test up to date, and so
the assert wasn't correct.
So why not copy what we know and evaluated manually is correct? So it is very much, yes, I approve of this. So it is very much sort of an approval style thing. Hey there, Xproof. Should your DTOs be modeled exactly how you expect your input to be? Yes, that is their purpose. That is their entire purpose in life, is to transfer data, hence the name, data transfer object. And so therefore, they are the thing that define what the input should be. So they should match exactly. Hey there, Nefine? No, we haven't done anything with Spring AI. Is it mature enough to try on some toy projects? Certainly for toy projects, I think it's mature enough. I know Dan Vega and Deshaun Carter had, I think it was yesterday, did a office hours on that, so you could take a look at that video on the Spring Developers channel. Yeah, so I think it's certainly ready for playing around with. All right. So we now have a test that where we extract the failure message. So now I think we can convert parse with result to return results. Is there a way to do that with a refactoring? Not really.
So changing this wouldn't enable a refactor?
No.
No.
There's not going to be any there's not going to be any automated way for IntelliJ to figure out, oh, you don't want a stream of results, you want a result, and we'll put the multiple things in that result. No, that's not going to do that.
Right.
What we could do, is there a smaller step? I think there's a smaller step. Is it worth it though? So the smaller step could be that we continue to return a stream of result, but result now has multiple failure messages in it. So instead, but I don't know if that's worth it.
Because this is not looking at, wait a second. So the stream currently is being tested for having multiple result objects
right
with this content,
right,
not a single result object with that content.
Right, and that is the next step. Is I think maybe we can do it in slightly smaller steps. So what we can do is have another method. So we'll do more parallel change. Have a method on the result that is failure messages that returns the list of string that we're currently storing.
So should we do that from the test side?
Yeah, so let's change let's see. We want line 58 to be failure messages. That's going to return a list. Which we kind of have to flat map. It's a little awkward. I don't normally, and maybe it makes.
Do you think would refactoring out of streams into a for loop help us and then refactor back into a stream?
No, because we're not using stream operations here. This is all assert that.
Oh, that's assert, right.
J. So let's do this. Let's change that to failure messages, plural. That will force us to create a method. We'll go ahead and create that method. And that will return a list of string.
String, right?
String, yeah. And then we'll return a list copy of dot copy of, yeah, of our failure messages. Yeah. And so now it's going to complain because what it's getting from the extracting there on line 58, 59 is not individual things, but a list of string. So what we can do is we can put list.of in front of both of those lines. Did you add the paren at the end?
Yep.
No.
Oh, it took it away because I had typed it in.
Oh.
When I made that mistake, it deleted it. I see.
So this now should continue to pass because this is equivalent. Okay, great. And so now what we can do is we'd like to now make a change where parse with result returns a stream of results that only has size of 1. So let's
So do we?
yeah, so let's change the test so it'll fail because it'll be 2 instead of 1.
Right. Good.
And now now we need to go into our parse with result method. We might not be able to change it at this level. Yeah, so this is interesting. So where do we sort of accumulate the new result? So there are basically two mechanisms. One is we could do the accumulating parameter way of doing things. So pass in an empty result to parse song, and then it returns a result with either the song or the error failure message added. Or this method sort of
Parser's result.
It does the what's the word, reducing to an individual result. I've never been a I don't know I don't know how much of a fan I am of accumulating parameter. It always strikes me as I don't know. There's something about it I don't like, and I'm not sure what it is. Because it's not it because it's a totally fine pattern. So we could do that, which would make it a little bit easier. Um, I don't know, do you have any thoughts on where we might do this?
Yeah, I've used accumulating pattern a few times, but not enough to like be like, oh, I have a gut pro or con on it.
Hmm.
If we go that route, you're saying parse with result change will be a little bit simpler, or do we just do a dual change, try it one way and then the other, and see what we think?
Yeah, I think I don't like it because what it's going to do is it would force parse song uh, that you'd have to pass in a result, kind of an empty result. We don't really have that concept.
Mm.
Um, but we may sort of end up there anyway. I'm not sure.
Mm.
Hey there, Lusket. No, we're not using multi-threading. In general, I think I mean we may want multi-threading at some point, more in terms of background processing, but no multi-threading in here. In Xproof, to answer your question, if you have a class that only needs to set 2 fields, then you want a different DTO. DTOs are cheap. Use them for one purpose. Don't try to make, if you don't need all the fields and you're not reusing it exactly as is, make another one. In Java, they're records, really cheap, 2 lines of code, if that. So let's figure out how do we want to, so this will probably require some more changes to result. And we might actually have to switch gears and start testing against result directly. Because we have no way right now for result to actually be given multiple, like add this failure or add this success.
Because it's all through the constructor at the moment, 13 and 17.
Well, it's actually all through the
the static.
yeah, I mean, yes, through the constructor, indirectly through the static methods. Yeah.
Are these constructors need to be public?
No, they could probably be private. In fact, they probably should be private.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Nope.
Oops, wrong one.
Actually, now I'm wondering. So I forget, what did we say that we want from result if we have some success and some failures?
I think the plan was.
There we go. No partial result, all or nothing. Okay. Basically, I was trying to figure out if we have one failure message, then we're not going to bother saving any of the songs. That's right. Okay. So I think then what we do is we do another map. So we do a parse song. From that, we get a stream of results. So on line 29. And then from there, we need to, if any of them are, if there's failures in any of them, then immediately we need to accumulate all the failures.
Right. We don't stop parsing, but we stop saving the songs.
Yeah. So I think we need to save that off into a stream of results. So let's do that. So let's take that entire return section and extract it to a variable.
And how do you go back?
Hold down the shift key.
I'm going to do it again and deliberately go over and then got it. To a variable, right?
Yep. We can just call this results. So what we want is if there are any failures, then we want to return a single result with all of the failure messages. Okay, so we'll need and this is where we might want to write I mean, I don't know how we feel about writing a test for something that'll be fairly trivial. What we'll want is a constructor, or basically a failure static method that takes multiple strings. So I don't know if we want to write a test for that. I don't feel
from testing the result class directly or via.
Yeah. Because we're going to test it indirectly here.
Right. Do we even have?
No, I don't think we have a direct.
No, we don't. Okay. Well, we can always use it and toss it if it feels like it's not useful. But if it gets us to the next step.
Well, we'll get there anyway, because we'll be forced to create a method that takes a list of failure message strings. So I don't feel like I don't feel like I need to test drive the result to get that method. So let's do this. I think here is where we can change it to return a single result instead of a stream of results. So
Do
let's
the signature change officially?
no, we're gonna have IntelliJ help us. So let's say on line 30, what we want to do is we want to return result.failure with results dot to list. No, to list.
I know it was a
Oh,
mousing error.
and so now we'll need to have it create the method. So Alt Enter is your friend. If you click on to lists there, somewhere in the red, and do Alt Enter. And we want to create a new method.
Oh, there it is.
We want that to just return a result. That's actually wrong. That should be list of string. And because we kind of skipped a step, that's fine.
Huh.
And that should be failure messages. And yeah,
You
let's
need a new
do,
constructor?
yeah, so we'll do new result. Yeah, with the failure messages. And that'll force us to create the constructor. Yep. Yep. And then we'll add all.
At all. Oh, right.
You want to be sure to put the this in front of it to disambiguate.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Private?
Yes. Good catch. All right, and so on the left side, bottom left on 30, we actually do need to do a map. So we need to do a results.map, and we need to extract the failure message. Nope, it has to be a method call.
Oh,
So, nope, nope. Inside the map method call, we need to put stuff.
oh, right. So,
So this is result : failure message.
singular?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so now, if you do Alt Enter, we want that one, yes. And so now that's going to break a whole bunch of things. That's fine. Well, let's worry about the production code first, and then we'll worry about the test.
What's the best way to jump to the production code that's failing? Just the next error?
Move the caret to the
F2?
correct pane, to the bottom left pane, because you're in the top left pane. You want to be in the bottom,
Right.
and then F2.
Yeah.
So here, parse with the result is returning a single result, and think we just want to return.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we need to say dot songs. Actually,
But there is no songs.
yeah, so we need to create that.
Okay.
And you can get rid of the rest of the code there.
Then
And so
create
let's
it.
create. Yep. 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 So list copy of songs.
Oh, right, because we've already got it as. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. There's an
Okay.
extra space between the return and the list of.
Are any other
And
errors?
not in the
No.
production code. So let's now fix line 55 there on the top. That should just be stream. That should just be result.
Actually, let me see if.
Alt enter. Yep.
Yeah.
So now result won't have any size at all. And we can drop the extracting.
The whole line?
Yeah, because what we'll do is we'll say result.failure messages inside the assert that. And then we can drop the list ofs because now there's not going to be any unwrap. Let's see what we've broken.
Oops. A lot.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So how are you feeling about what we've just done?
Feels like we made a really big change since we have so many errors.
Yeah. And so what should we do about it?
I would roll back
Yeah.
to a certain point and then figure out how to take a smaller step.
Yeah. So we'll roll back to our last commit and we'll take a break because it's break time.
Oh yeah, totally break time.
And we'll
Want to
try
roll back
again.
after the break?
Sure. Yeah, we'll roll back after the break.
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll take a break. And when we come back from the break, our brains will be a little bit fresher, and we'll try this again. So we'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll see you after the break. Hey, folks. Just a reminder that if you want to have discussions about the kinds of stuff we do here on the stream, join the Discord. As I've mentioned before, we are currently reading a book as a group. And so what we do is every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. UTC, we get together on Zoom for a couple hours and talk about a chapter or so of a book. The current book we're reading is The Programmer's Brain. It's not too late to join. This coming Sunday, we'll be finishing up chapter 2, so you can easily catch up. So go ahead, join the Discord if you're not already there. If you're already there, but you're not part of the book club, just send me a direct message and I'll hook you up. And no charge. So if you join, you get access not only to the live sessions, but also to recordings of past sessions, so you can catch up that way. All right. So let's roll back.
We're gonna roll back. You have a preferred technique for doing that? Just go back
Yeah,
to the.
so what I do is I open up the commit window, so Alt-0, and basically hit the backwards facing button, that one, roll back, and then select all the things. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Rerun the test.
Yeah, let's rerun those tests. Make sure we're back at green.
Good.
All right, so
We took too big a step. Is that what we did too big a step, or did we take the wrong step?
well, so we basically mucked with the parse method on 18 at the bottom, because we ended up changing the way the success worked. So I wonder if we change our result class first to support multiple songs and go that route. So basically get parse to
Handle
get parse,
success correctly.
yeah, and so parse with the results. I actually think we should sort of undo that, because I think extracting stream of results made it hard for us to take the next step of turning stream of result into an individual result that has multiple things in it.
So you're saying inline this?
Well, if we inline that, we muck up the test that we have at the top. So so can we? So what we'd like is what we'd like is our parse song,
Which is down
sorry,
here.
so the parse song, let's see. What we want is our parse method, or parse with result, to be a single result. Can we make that change without doing anything else? Or what would it take to be able to make that change without breaking anything?
In other words, make parse behave like parse song.
No, make parse continue to work, but change parse with result to return a single result that has multiple songs in it. Because that was the step that messed us up.
Say it again. Make parse was result, return.
A single result instead of a stream of results.
Got it.
So what would it take to do that?
But still leave the signature of parse to stay the same.
Still, yeah, because that's I think is a separate step.
This is where my thin knowledge of streams is impacting my ability to suggest.
Well, put streams aside. what might we have to do here? So in order for this to in order for this to work, where parse returns a list of song and we handle multiple songs, the only way that could work is if result holds multiple songs.
Right.
So I think we have to
and result is structured to hold multiple songs.
Yeah, so
let's use it.
Yeah, so let's redo that part where we basically expose songs and failure messages. As query methods. So songs returns the list of songs and failure messages returns a list of failure messages.
Is there a
You can create getters for both of them. We can rename them.
Yeah, let's do that.
But we're going to want to do a copy of as part of that. But you can generate those. You can generate both of them.
Where to put them? Oh, there we are. Okay, so then we want to do. Is it?
So unless you have the live template postfix installed, you're going to just have to do it manually with a .org and a list. List.copy of. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that on my to-do list. And then I presume we want to rename these.
Yep.
That was its suggestions. Get songs or get songs. Not so helpful. Yeah, songs. And then this one is. Look at that. The suggestion list kills me.
Yeah. Yep. Well, of course. What else are you going to do?
Would you like these moved to the bottom?
I would like to move down. I'm not sure about the bottom per se, but basically next to where the other query methods are.
Uh-oh. Did we just mess up?
Yeah, so one problem with using the move method is it reformats as it moves it down, which can mess things up. When I'm moving more than one method, I just cut and paste. Hey there, Marulo, welcome.
What do you think? Before song?
I think down here is fine. I'm not going to be more. I don't really care where else.
Okay.
Below the static methods is all that I care about.
Okay. I'm going to be annoying. I want to at least have song and songs together and failure message. All right. Okay. I have no idea why, but.
All right. So now that we have songs available, what we want is we want to change our parse with results to basically map it back into a single result, which we probably could do in a collect sort of way, but I think that's a bit painful. So what we'll want to do is extract our 27 through 29 into a variable. Alt.
I always get that one mixed up.
And these are going to be, what we're going to want them to be is songs. And we'll fix up the type in a second. So let's now, so out of the map, what we get are basically a bunch of results. What we want to now do is basically just do a toList. And that gives us a list of results. So no, we want to do one more map before the toList. And so what we want to do is we want to pull the song out of it. So result : song.
Or result :
Yeah. And then toList on that. And so that gives us a list of song. So we can change the Alt Enter to change the variable type. And now we want to return a result of songs. So success, but where we're going to pass in multiple songs.
Right.
And that will force us to create that sequence of static method and constructor.
So, okay, so do songs, but then it'll force us to make the constructor.
Right.
A success factory method that can handle a list of songs.
Yes.
Got it.
Hey there, Mazdrin. It's going well.
Create method and result, this one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do we want it to be a stream of results?
No.
We want it to be
just result.
Just, yeah. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we have a constructor that can handle that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
So let's change the signature of the existing one.
Oops, sorry. Should I stop what I was doing?
No, you're right.
Okay.
But
so create constructor.
No, that's what I'm saying. Change signature.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Go back to the options. Change signature of result. The song one, that one, to list of song.
Got it.
And then what we can do is on line 22, wrap that with a list of. No, inside of the parameter.
Oh.
Right, because what we've done is we've changed this so the constructor must require a list. So that way we don't end up with another constructor that we don't need.
Why is that? There we go.
And so you want to do add all on line 14. No. Yes. Sorry, you're right.
Okay.
Add all. You're right.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering what. Yeah, okay.
And let's rename the variable to songs, the parameter. All right, and now we can start backtracking from our parse with result there to return a result. We want that method to return a result. So Alt Enter. Nope.
I'm just looking.
Yeah, that
So
one.
we want that one.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And so that'll break a few things. So here we won't need to map it at all. So you can delete the map in the to list.
Ah.
But since it was returning a result and we're expecting a list of song, we can just say .songs. And so now if we fix the test on the top, no, you want the variable change.
Oh, this one. Okay, right.
Yeah. Here we want
Would it
so
be a
this is
result?
this is basically going to be a breaking change for us because it's only going to return success, and that's fine, right? Because what we'll do is we don't want to break anything else, but we want to change this behavior. This test is going to be new behavior where what we're saying is now a result will have multiple things in it. So I think we can actually, for now, comment out this test.
Oh, the whole test?
Yeah.
Should we just disable it?
No, because it won't compile.
Ah.
Because I want to make sure that all the other tests that we haven't broken anything with what we just did.
Good point.
Okay, great. So now we have basically everything else working except for our new behavior of failure results. So let's do a commit here. And this is parse with result returns a single result instead of a stream.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, committed.
And so now we want to sort of redo this test, but sort of the right way. So let's uncomment the test. And let's do that change we did before, which was add on a release title. And So let's redo our, you can delete 56 through 58. So what we want here is we want to say that in this case, result dot is success is false. Let's run that. I think that will pass. Actually, I have no idea what it'll do. No such element. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Such element.
because what it's doing is uh, parse with result. We're pulling out the songs, and we don't want to do that. Let's swap things around. So let's do another refactoring. So let's disable this currently failing test. Need an @ sign there.
Oh, it's only one key off. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Oop, no.
And what we want is we want parse with result to actually return the proper result. We're sort of faking it by returning it a forced success. So instead, let's inline parse with result just into there, and then we're going to re-extract it.
So just this one, right?
Yeah.
But keep the method.
Mm-hmm. So we can do here is
This is wrong, right?
well, no, that is still our goal, but it's really the goal for the method below it. But I think we can take that out, or at least that line out. Yeah, leave the goal. Yeah. And so now what we want to do is so let's scroll down a bit because we want to change the parse with the result. So take out 31 and 32. So out of the map of the parse song, we get a stream of results, and we want to basically reduce that.
Are you saying this?
No, I mean we could use that, but that's not gonna work for us. So let's change the variable to hold the right thing. So now what we want is let's change the variable of songs to be results, because that's what it really is. So now how do we convert a stream of results to a single result? That's our original question. Any thoughts?
Is there well, I guess no. It's right now the signatures over here are list of songs. We want it to be a single result. And we want it that for each one, if it's failure, we do one thing, and if success, we do the other.
Right.
Is this old school if statement time?
Unless you have a better suggestion, that's the only thing I can come up with.
So now we need to test, but it's a string.
Well, what failing test are we fixing if we're going to write an if statement? What failing test are we fixing? We don't currently have a failing test.
We don't currently have one yet. We have a failing compile.
Right.
What's up with that?
So how do we get to, so what was the test what test did we want?
This one? Or are we trying to get a, yeah, actually, I'm not sure. Are we trying to get this one so we can undisable it? Or are we trying to just keep everything green?
Well, what we'd like is we're sort of going so previously where we went and then we had to back up, we went down the road of going down the failure routes because this test drove us to go down the failure path. But we've been going down now the success path. We inline the code so we're not modifying, we're not changing the way the success works, but we'd like to stop having that code inline there, and we wanted to rely on our parse with result. So I think it might be easier if we create a test that calls parse with that calls parse with the result directly, but actually is a successful outcome.
Oh, because right now we only have the disabled one's a failure one.
Right. So we want one that like it, except one that passes, and we probably have one that is calling the parse directly.
Right, I think most are calling parse directly.
Yeah, and so we just want one that's successful and grab its inputs.
Mm.
And so we want multiple.
Oh, wait, this one.
Yeah.
This one, right?
Yep.
Duplicate the whole test or just the setup?
No, I think just the setup.
Well, let me make a new test first.
Well, I can give you a name if you need a name.
Sure.
So this is parse multiple songs with successful result. And we want to hold on to the return value.
All right.
Nope, not arg.
Oh, not arg. Dot var.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
And now we want to assert that result is success is true. No.
I know.
No.
Oh.
Result dot is success.
Oh, it is success. Okay.
Yeah. Right. This will actually fail because we're currently returning a constant for is success. But that's good because it'll lead us to flesh out that code.
So the constant principal method found. This is not the expected error.
Right, because we didn't fix that.
So we want this to be results as a stream. We want to convert it to, what does this take? So dot songs. Oops. Okay, results, it's a stream. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we basically need to do what we did above.
Oh, this above?
Yes. So in fact, you could delete parse with result and re-extract to a certain extent, or you could just
Really?
copy and
So
paste,
delete this whole thing?
or copy and paste. So basically, lines 23 and 24, copy those lines.
Okay.
And then paste them into after 31. So 31 and a half. Delete the semicolon at the end of 31. And change the return type of results to be songs. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Now rerun the test.
Yep. So what I'd like to do, since we just did that to make those methods now look alike again, is delegate the top method to the bottom method. So let's disable the test that we just wrote. And the test should pass. And then we can delegate lines 20 through basically 23.
There?
No. Delete 20 through 25. And that line. And so now let's write return parse with results dot songs.
Did you say dot songs?
Yeah, but you got to pass in the parameter.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yep. That's it. So that should still work. It does. And now we can re-enable. So this should still fail because success is always returning false.
Success is returning false.
All right, so let's fix that.
Not what I meant to do. I'll fix this before I forget. Okay. The failure was, oh, I had to rerun it. Right. Expecting true, got false. Where are we hard coding it to false?
Say again?
Oh, you said we're having success always being false,
Right.
right? And we're doing that. Is that here?
I'm not sure what you're looking at. The is success method is returning false.
Right. So if I click on it, it goes here. Oh, it's just hard coded to false.
Right.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Yep. So we'd like that not to be hard coded, so we have to fix that.
So we would do that by will we check if there's any failure messages, then return false? Otherwise,
I
I don't
mean, we
know.
could. I kind of don't like that.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't like checking for empty
No.
for either one. So I think we should just turn it into a field.
Can I turn it into a field directly?
Yep. Alt Control F.
A Boolean. And we want to
Yeah.
initialize it in
In a constructor.
there we go. Interesting. That looks like a drop down, but it's actually a
Oh, that's
cycle.
weird. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. And we want to call it, we already have a method called success.
So is success.
Right. I was thinking parse success, but I think I like is success better.
So if we run that, that'll still fail.
Right.
And then we
We
can
didn't
make the one,
change.
because that was a prepare refactoring.
Yeah.
And now we can make the one line easy. Now that we made the change easy, now we can make the easy change.
Then run the test.
Mm-hmm.
Should pass now.
It should pass now, yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's much cleaner than checking the error message because I forgot that we had two different constructors, one for
Yes.
failed.
Yeah. And eventually what we'll end up with, and this is generally how it goes, is you end up with two subclasses. Because there's no point in holding on to songs if you're a failure, and there's no point in holding on to failure messages if you're a success. And then it can once again return hard-coded values, and then we'd get rid of it.
Right.
But for now, we're still a ways away from that. So let's do a commit now that we have. I think we're on a better path than we were before.
High level commit message.
So results now returns correct value for is success. Yeah.
Did is success exist before?
Yeah, it was just hard code to return false.
Oh, right. Well, it wasn't is success. It was.
That was a success.
Oh, it was. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we added the field is success,
Right.
not the property.
Right.
Got it. Test ignored. Yeah, we know that.
All right. So now, now we can go to our other disabled test. or not other, but now the only disabled test we have left.
Mm-hmm. Does this show you if it's disabled?
Not if you're in result.
It
It doesn't. That's too bad.
doesn't. Is this
Yeah,
kind
because
of, what is this little symbol here? Oh, that's the same. Oh, there it is right here. It does show up.
it's really
Although,
hard to see.
here,
Yeah.
if I let me move the cursor down.
Yeah, it's still too. It's really tiny.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, because good that tells you. All right, so let's re-enable it. Let's run it.
Want to run it? See what happens?
Actually, it should pass now. I think.
Right.
And if not, then oh, no such element. Oh, good. Good. So it failed for a reason that makes sense, but not what we expected, and that's fine. So let's go figure out why it failed.
So let me see the no such element exception. So get first, which I remember when we hovered over it earlier, it throws no such exception if the collection's empty.
Right.
So if we're parsing, sorry, which test was that that failed? Go back. The new test, of course, the one we just enabled.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back, Astrid. Oh, cool. Yeah. Mark ordered a copy of my game, so
Oh,
cool.
cool.
So let's figure out why this failed.
Right. So somehow this is getting called, probably within this partial
So
result.
okay, I want to stop you there. You just used the word probably. How can you know for sure exactly what called get first that caused it to fail?
See what caused song?
No.
No. Okay.
So when we ran it and it failed, it had a stack trace.
Right. Duh.
So this to me this what you did is actually pretty
Common.
typical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
pretty common that it's like this gives us exactly who called what that led to the failure. And so what you can do is basically back up in the stack trace. So, okay, we know result.song. Well, that's where it actually threw,
The exception.
that's where it actually called get first. And so we need to back up further. And we basically want to skip over internal Java stuff. And the next one, and we can always tell because one thing you notice in the stack trace is the links that are to your code are in blue versus the links to Java source code, JDK source code that are in sort of grayed out. And so that allows us to then jump back in the call stack within our code. And it's these little things that this is sort of, when we look at experts versus novices, experts know the pattern, and so I don't even in a sense see those other two lines in the stack trace because they have grayed out lines and they start with Java base, and so I don't even I sort of skip processing them, and I just see oh, okay, before result.java line 41 TSV song parser. And that is when you're practicing TDD or just tests in general, is like read the stack trace and get used to reading the stack trace. And reading stack traces is hard because there is a lot of information, especially Spring, any framework stack traces are going to be huge. And part of getting better at it is for folks to read it more and see what's important and what's not. And so becoming expert in reading stack traces is learning what to ignore and what to pay attention to. And IntelliJ helps us a bit by providing the blue links for stuff that you probably care about. and as well
Okay.
as also collapsing the code. And I wish, and I think in more recent versions they're doing an even better job of this, because so if on the left side, no, cancel. On the left side, in that part of the pane. So on the right part of the pane, the right part of the pane inside the
Oh,
pane where your cursor is, yeah.
oh, in the right part of the right pane.
Well, there's
Got it.
no left pane. There's
Well,
two.
I
Well,
consider
this,
this.
yeah, and so
Okay.
in the left part of the right pane, you'll see the plus signs.
Ah, there we go.
Those are the cold folding. Um, what I think they do, they're supposedly improving is, like, I don't even want to see those two ones that start with Java base. I don't even want to see those. Those are not relevant to me. Like, it folded a bunch of stuff in between there, but even those two, I don't want to see. I want to see a jump directly from TSV song parser right to result, and I don't want to see anything in between. Like, I think it should fold that completely away, but it doesn't. You could manually, but that doesn't really help you in the future. All right, so we know that there on line 27, that's basically where it's become a problem, which makes sense.
So toList is trying to convert. Well, it threw an exception. Get first threw an exception. While
Yeah, so
toList is
this is
being
where
called.
streams get tricky in terms of stack traces. Yes, technically line 27 caused the call to the song method that caused the get first to be called. But really it's because toList says, okay, all the stuff previously defined in the stream, now go execute. Because streams are they're what are called terminal operations that kick off evaluation of everything before it. So maps are not terminal operations. They're not intermediate They're what I think they're called intermediate operations. And so they don't actually do anything at runtime. They basically build up this chain of things. And then toList says, oh, now I got to collapse everything and execute everything that's happened. So technically, yes, from a runtime point of view, toList is what triggered it. But really, it's line 26 that was the problem. But that'll never show up in a stack trace because
Right.
it doesn't get executed as part of this.
Right. So this is the song, which is
Right.
this method, which is
Yes.
calling this.
Yes. So this is what we want. We wanted this to fail because this is now our failing test that we can now go write that if statement that you were anxious to write. That we were anxious to write. So now we can write the if statement. We have a failing test. It's failing for the right reason. And so now we can do the right thing, which is so I want to say this is really interesting because you and I thought this as well. If we were going to write the if statement, we were going to write it after line 27.
Right, but it's too late.
And that's too late. And so this is the danger of prematurely trying to write code without having a test, is because now we see not just that it failed, but the reason it failed. Like, we knew it was going to fail. At least I knew it was going to fail. But and then maybe if I thought about it really hard, we would have figured out that it would fail with the trying to resolve the song. But now that we've seen the test fail, we actually see, oh, it's going to fail basically on line 26. So if we do it after line 27, it's too late. And so now we have to figure out, what do we do? It's certainly not going to be an if statement based on songs.
Do we have, like, instead of calling song, we call a method, which, well, maybe calling isn't the right terminology, but here on 26.
Well, we can't map it to song, right? In fact, map to song is a backwards compatibility thing, right?
Oh,
We wrote this code so that it would be backwards compatible with all of our existing code. But now this is not correct. And our
Right.
test has shown us that this is not correct. And so what we want to do is we need to basically store everything above 26, basically from 23 to 25 in an intermediate variable, and then analyze that.
So extract that to.
Yeah, so we don't want to return an optional. We want to evaluate whether that. So what we get from there is we get a stream of results, and what we want to do is then look, do any of these results failing, or are all the results passing or successful?
So we're extracting it to variable, right?
Yeah, I think
And
that
then,
variable is fine for now.
okay.
So, so now we have a stream that we could look at, right? We could, in a sense, query the stream. And if you're all successful, then we can just return what we have in the rest of the method, basically map it and then return it.
How do we query?
Well, so the problem is if we query, and we can do that with a so if we're looking for success, we could say all match. But really what we care about is if there's any single failure, then everything's a failure. Otherwise, we return the success. The problem is if we try to do a result stream dot find first to say find me the first failure, or maybe any match for is success where it's false, that will unfortunately consume the stream. So
Is there any way to query the stream without consuming it?
well, so there is probably a way to do it with a collector. And Astrid mentions partition. So there is partitioning by, and that might work for us. So let's look at what partitioning. Yes, so that will work. So what we can do is we can let's see. Let's try that. So let's do let's change line so let's do 26 and a half. Sorry, it's going to be an additional part of the stream, so you'll want to put it in between the semicolon. And we'll say dot collect collect and then collectors dot partitioning by. If you say dot p, it should autocomplete. Yeah. And we want it to be what is it? Actually, I'm not sure. So let's do a regular lambda. So do r and then an arrow, and then r dot is success, and then have a quick fix to change the return value, the return type. because it's going to be a map of something to something. Yeah. Right. So what this does is it turns, and you can actually have it change that into the method handle version where your cursor, where your caret is.
Oh.
And so what this does is it basically partitions. So it partitions the stream into two lists. One list matching false will have a list of results, and one matching true. So this should be a true refactoring if we do, instead of result stream.map, if we basically say result stream.get.
Like that?
True. We probably want that to be an upper, a Boolean true. Yeah. It would auto box it, but it's more clear if we do that. And then you can get rid of the rest of that.
Nope.
So this returns the list of result, and so we need to then do the map. So actually, maybe undo it. Maybe we deleted it. I think we might have had it. Yeah. So so we need to stick in a dot stream first before the map. Yep. Yep. You can reformat. Control-Alt-L.
Yeah. Thank you. I knew it was L. I just wasn't sure if it was Control-Alt.
Yep. So what this does is it basically pulls out, give me the ones that are matching the true, turn that list into a stream, pull out the songs. Now we have a list of songs, and then return a success result with those songs. We'll be cleaning some of that up, but this should have been a backwards compatible. So the test should still fail, but all the other tests should pass. This will fail differently because we'll get we won't be failing anymore on the get on the song, right, because we're not calling that there. And so now we get actually a nicer failure, which is just a failure of is success. So now that we've partitioned it, now we can actually write the if statement.
We'd write it on 30.
Yeah.
Now we test what?
So we might want to rename result stream to be more clear of what that variable is.
Map of.
I think we could just say partition map, or just partition. Without the ed.
Oh, partition.
Yeah. Maybe a better name. Good enough for now.
Okay.
Unless you just want to call it pants, which I'm also fine with. But we are not calling it partition result stream, bastard.
but pants partition.
Yes.
Result
pants.
stream is okay.
Now let's write our if statement. And we'll see with our usage here what a better name might be. So we're saying here is if contains key false. This is so terrible. I mean, this is so kind of funny.
It's very weird, yeah.
So what we're saying is if the partition, well, Is it always going to contain the key? I'm actually
Is it
not
going to
sure.
partition into two no matter what?
I don't know. Um, the returned map always contains mappings for both false and true keys. So the contains key is insufficient.
Yeah.
We actually want to do a partition.get on that key and then see if that list is empty.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
So you actually want to wrap the code we've got below, and that belongs inside the if block. Because that's basically saying there were no failures.
False.
Right. So
If
if there were
boolean
no
true.
falses,
Right.
then it must have been a success. Then it's all success.
So that means the test should all still pass except for the one.
Yeah, except we got to get it to compile. So we need to return something else here. We can just return null if you want. And that will cause our current test to fail with the null pointer exception, but all other tests should pass.
Right. You want to make sure that that refactoring didn't break anything.
Yes. And so it didn't. So that's good. So
good.
we figured out our partition get stuff correctly. Yeah. Make it compile is overrated. Some people think so. So now, finally, we can maybe make our test pass. So we'll want to do something similar, which is we want to map over. We want to stream over the partition, but we do the get to get the false ones.
So would
you
it
can
be
copy
something
that.
like this and then false?
And then instead of mapping result song, we want to map the failure message.
Singular.
And then we say instead of return, and then we want to fix the variable type. So quick fix. Yep. And then not success, but failure. Probably want to rename that variable. Yeah. Yep. Let's delete 44 and then we can create the other method.
Read 44? Oh, 44. Yep.
Now let's create that.
Create that. Oh, yep. We don't have failure and result? Well,
we don't have one that takes a list.
Got it.
And we can do the same thing we did for song. So hit enter and then enter and then enter. And return new result. Singular. Yep. With failure messages. Change the signature. Not that one. That one. Do you see the difference? So the thing that it's crossing out is saying what it's going to replace. We don't want to replace the one that takes a list of song because that's the success one.
That's the success failure, right? The success one.
We want to change the one that took a single string and make it list of string.
Got it.
And then we want to fix 29, same way we did 25. Oh, actually, you could have adapted argument using collection singleton lists. That works too.
Whoa, what is that? Collection singleton list.
It basically creates a list of one. So it's a very specialized version of list of. That would work too. I mean, that's it's totally
But
fine. I wish it would have a different adapt message, but
do we want to do that?
it doesn't matter. This is possibly going to be temporary. But it really doesn't matter. It's you both end up with lists that are immutable and size of 1. It's just there are different ways of doing it.
Got it. I guess I would go with this one if I had to
No,
choose.
that actually is going to change signature. We don't want to change signature. We want to
Oh,
adapt our parameter. And there's only one option for that for an automated way of doing it.
I see. Got it.
So did that fix everything? Why does it look like I can't tell what color that is? If you hit F2, it looks like there's still some compile errors.
There's 2 of them. There's
Right,
this one.
because line 21, we now need to say add all.
Oh, so it's the plural.
Yes.
This needs to be plural then.
But why is 15 not compiling? Oh, because no, that's a list. Oh, because of type erasure.
Type erasure.
Crud. So
Black
it looks like to humanize, oh, these are 2 different parameters types, right? A list of song and a list of string. Except from the compiler's standpoint, these are just lists. It doesn't know the generic types. And that's so type erasure means that the compiled bytecode does not know the type of the list. That's
It just knows the
that's a
list.
compile time artifact that doesn't come out in the bytecode. And so from the bytecode point of view, these are 2 constructors with the same list of parameters. And you can't do that. And indeed, that does bite.
Yes.
And this is why like making it subclasses would eliminate this problem, because we'd have more concrete results. We probably want to do that sooner than I thought we would, but I don't want to do it now. So
how do we get around it now?
Well, we get around it by
having like a bogus arg.
Well, by basically change. Yeah, we could do a bogus argument, which then gets ignored. Which that's one way. The other way is. Yeah, it just says instance of. You could do an instance of, so you could grab the first item in the thing and say what type are you? That you can do.
Yeah.
Because that's not type erasure stuff. That's just runtime type checking. I don't. That seems even worse. Not worse, but just even more awkward. The other thing we could do is say, yeah, so we could create a proper list of songs object. I don't want to do that either. I want to do basically the smallest possible thing that will get us there. So there are 2 options. Either we add a bogus argument to one of them, or we change the collection type to one of them. Right? Whether it's a list or a set, we don't care about. Right? So I might say, let's change failure message to be a set. Although that's string, that might be more dangerous. Let's make it the songs are a set, because then we know by definition those are going to be unique.
Can we have to manually do it, or is there a?
We'll manually do it. It'll be one change there, and then it'll be set of in the other place. And now, yeah. All right.
Still got an error.
Yeah, because success is taking a list of songs, so we can just do.
Can you convert to set? Here?
Well, we can see what it suggests.
Of course.
Yeah, we don't want to cast. I think we can just say set. Can we say set copy? What happens if we say set dot? Yeah, we can do set copy of, because it just takes a collection. All right.
Okay.
Let's run our tests.
And I forgot, I ran it before asking the prediction.
If we did everything correctly, they should all pass. But I kind of suspected the set would muck up one of them, and that's probably the one. So what did it say? Yeah, because the order matters for those tests. So
right.
They're out of order. I don't think we care about the order.
Should we? Okay, so change the test to not be contained exactly into a.
Yeah, to just be contains exactly in any order. Yeah. Because
right? Yeah.
Yeah, because really we don't care about the order that they're added, because eventually they'll all just be added to the database, and the order doesn't matter because they'll be indexed by theme, and so order doesn't matter. Whereas failure messages, I kind of wanted to preserve that, because there we'd want to see it sort of in order of encounter, where we have validation errors.
Right. So now if we run all the tests, they should all pass.
That would be my expectation, yes, and prediction. Oh,
Unexpected song
oh,
content.
same problem. So same problem.
Oh, where? Oh, that was a different test.
Yeah. That's weird that.
Why did it not run?
I don't. Because likely because order of running tests changes. The set does not guarantee any kind of order, and so randomness of the hash code instance variable stuff. So yeah, that was basically a flaky test. And we might have some of those.
Right. Run again?
Yeah. Which argues for the bogus argument might have been safer. Because it would have resulted in both still being lists.
Right. But if we move quickly to.
But yeah, we're gonna move pretty quickly to
inheritance approach.
To two types of results.
Yeah.
All right. Everything passes.
Commit time?
Let's do a commit.
Yeah. Good enough, or
I think we need to say a little more.
I thought so. Clearly, I'm a little bit fuzzy today.
So basically, parse with results returns correct result for success and failure.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, Astrid.
Cool. Commit.
Yep. So we didn't actually talk about our end time, but if we wanted to
Right.
end, this would be a good stopping point.
When did we start? 9
Yeah.
our time. I could go a bit more. Maybe a quick break because I'm sort of help rejuvenate the fuzziness I have.
Yeah. So let's do a quick break, and then maybe we'll figure out what our next steps are and decide if we want to start on those steps or just uh, stop here. But we'll do a little bit of planning.
Sounds good.
All right. So we'll take a quick break and see you in a few. All right, and we're back. So our tests are passing. We did a commit. I think we, um, yeah. Let's open Jira. We can close the result. So I think we are doing that. We probably have some refactoring to clean that code up, but I think we're sort of doing that. We're still so we're holding on to them, but we're only doing that with our parse with result method. We have not propagated the result all the way out, so we still need to do that. So if you look at just the parse method, it's still assuming it's actually assuming you're muted.
Ah, that explains it.
The double mute.
Yeah.
So the parse, so that's kind of, that'll be our next step then, is so refactor parse with result to clean up the code there. And then have all code, have all callers to, or all clients of TSV song parser use the parse with result method. Right.
And is the parse refactor, would that include the refactoring of results to having two
I think
different,
that's actually a
bigger step?
I think I think it's just a separate step. So yeah, split result into two concrete subclasses for success and failure. Yep.
Good enough planning for now?
I think that's good enough. Yeah.
I love it when sprint planning takes about, what was that, 2, maybe 3 minutes? Cool. Well, you want to dive into a bit more do another 20 minutes of
Yeah.
coding and streaming?
So let's
Well, actually, we can mark this one.
yeah, that one that we can, now that we've split out the other stuff, we can mark that as done.
Yeah.
So
Jira 52 complete.
all right. Woo. So let's see if what we can clean up from this
Yeah.
this messy. Yay. So this is yeah, pretty
Ugly.
ugly. um I added it for just for you, Astrid. You're welcome. So you can't see it because StreamYard doesn't propagate rewards, redemptions. But Astrid's been redeeming the Celebrate.
Oh, nice.
Wow, I this is ugly. I'm just not sure
How to clean it?
how to clean it. Um because it feels like there should be some way
Is it,
for us to use a collector of some sort, but yeah, I'm not sure. What do you think? Any thoughts from?
Well, I'm just wondering if would doing our next step split result into two concrete classes. I mean, one more line. Nope. Would that enable us to write parse with result cleaner?
No, because we're still going to be the concrete subclasses will be success and failure, but we'll still be returning the base class, which is the result.
Oh,
And I'm still and I'm not 100% sure of how what the subclasses would look like. It feels like there's a way to use reduce, but I'm not sure it's I'm not sure it's worth it.
hmm.
Because it's almost like there's basically a decision.
I mean, I guess this could be, each of these could be two functions. It would make it a little bit easier to read, but does that help us in?
Yeah, I don't know. There's probably some um yeah, I mean we could I'm not I'm sort of afraid to sort of prematurely do some of this without understanding how the subclasses are going to work. Um and this is almost and this is where I'm thinking, would accumulating parameter make this end up being nicer? Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like we would almost want like a custom collector that's similar to partitioning by. And this is where if you look at some of the implementations of an either or a result like thing that people have written, it ends up getting pretty hairy in terms of uh, things to solve exactly sort of this problem of
Hmm.
how do you stream how do you do a stream where in a sense you want um, to collapse like the minute you hit a failure, you sort of want to toss away any successes that you've had and then just accumulate only the failures. Um, but if there are no failures, then you want all the successes, and so it's sort of an asymmetrical kind of thing.
Who would have thought the parsing would be gnarly?
Well, it's never the
Not the actual parsing.
it's not the actual parsing that's the problem. It's handling the
Yeah,
failures, and that's to me that's always the more interesting part. Um,
true.
because there's more going on. It's not just straightforward happy case. So I'm not coming up with anything that I'm not coming up with anything useful. Like we could do some straightforward refactoring of just, extract 29 the expression uh and then extract the part that turns it into a success result. And then we could push the list of results into the success instead of passing in songs. So there's some refactoring we could do around there. And that might then lead us to well, then we basically be pushing stuff into result. So we'd be pushing the sort of the collection of songs or collection of failure messages from the results into result, because there's yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Astro, are you talking about the potential two subclasses, or I'm not sure what you mean by what two classes do we currently have? So what are your thoughts?
I'm actually a little bit, I mean, yeah, clearly we could do the cleanup of 29, having a more descriptive name, collecting up the body of the two if statements into a method, and each into their own method. The thing I'm focusing on at the moment, though, is that so the fact that we say on 29, if partition get boolean is false, is empty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, because it partitions into two, one where the
Right.
boolean is false and one where it's true.
Right.
Boolean false means success.
Well, Boolean false being empty means there are no failures. So we're basically, that's why, the first thing we might want to do,
Right.
maybe let's just do it.
Yeah.
Since you had to think about it quite a bit, is let's extract that expression. And we can just say it has failures. Sorry, has no failures. Right. So we're currently using the results success. The failures are going to be used once we basically do Jira 57, and we start propagating the failures out to the UI. So we do have a need for it. We just haven't hooked it up yet.
Would having the need for it, creating a test for that?
I don't think that would help,
Propagating it
because we're already returning result here, and we know what that looks like. It's really more the internals of parse with result.
Got it.
We would start with a test if we were working on that, Jira, but we're currently working on just a refactor of this method. So we're not looking to change any behavior.
There's no way to functionalize this. I mean, because it's 31's
Well, there
different
probably is. It's just, is it
and
worth it?
33.
Is really the question.
Right, and then 33 is different when it's being passed into the map. Are the two. No, but one returns a list of songs, one returns a list of failure messages.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you could extract that, including 35, into a method, and then parameterize things. Not
But
sure that would help.
yeah, I'm not sure it does either. And plus, this is success, this is failure.
Well, right. We'd have to move uh, we'd have to create some more general method in result that just takes a list of results and then resolves to either a success or failure.
So you think value at least in just creating this as a method, sort of abstracting it away a little bit so it doesn't look so hideous? Or do you think it's going to hide things that we'll need to later refactor it into something better?
I think we can extract that and parameterize it and see what that looks like.
Um, Whole songs from partition.
I would just say map to songs, because that's what it's doing.
Would you leave the from or no?
Yeah, from sounds good.
And do the same here.
Yeah.
Well, if one shows the rest correct keystroke. Map to failures. Failure messages. That work?
Yeah.
You think it's worth inlining these guys, or is it just going to make it more complicated? I guess we could try it and see what we think and go undo it if we don't like it. You're thinking
Um,
about something else.
I I don't like inlining those. I mean, you could do it to see what it looks like, but I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like that.
Because it's valuable to know that success is taking a list of songs.
It feels like it's just pushing too much into um, sorry, I'm just dealing with a spammer.
Yep. I can wait.
Okay. All right. I think that's probably as far as I'd go at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do an inline on 38 and just return those directly, and probably for the same for the other one.
Oh, I see. Yeah, here.
So 38 and 47.
Well, let's rerun the test, even though everything was automated.
Yep.
And then commit.
Yes, definitely want to commit. Let's run all the tests first.
As in all.
As in all. Yep.
Okay, good.
All right.
Good enough?
Yep.
Make it commit and push?
Yeah.
Since we're
Yeah.
ending the day.
Yep.
So for tomorrow, I think it'll have to be a hard stop for me at the 2-hour point.
Yep.
Starting at 10, right?
Yes.
Everything passed?
All right. Great.
Sweet.
All right. So thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. And we will pick it up tomorrow, 10 a.m. start time. So 1 hour later than we did today. 10 a.m. start time Pacific time, which is 6 p.m. UTC. And we'll maybe we'll have some better ideas about refactoring. Otherwise, we'll continue with starting to propagate. Now that we've basically made the success stuff backwards compatible, because that's what we've always done. But now we'll want to propagate the failures to the front end and be able to take those failure messages and display them instead of just throwing an ugly error page.
Should we add that to our Jira or is that already covered by?
That's already in there.
I have all the clients.
Yeah, that's
use. Okay.
Yeah. All right, that's all, folks. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, everyone.